Chile looks like somebody drew a country by mistake, and then said, "Yeah, we'll keep it." On a map, it doesn't look stable. It doesn't look balanced. It looks like a long, narrow accident running down the edge of a continent. It's a nation stretched between an ocean and a mountain wall. A strip of land pressed tightly between the Pacific and the Andes. From north to south, Chile runs for over 4,000 kilometers. That means traveling from one end of the country to the other can take longer than crossing entire continents. So the question is simple. How did this shape happen, and why hasn't Chile broken apart? In Chile, your reality depends almost entirely on where you live. North Chile feels like Mars. The Atacama Desert is one of the driest places on Earth. Some weather stations there have never recorded rainfall. The terrain is red, cracked, and empty, so extreme that space agencies test Mars rovers there. Central Chile feels like modern urban South America. This is where Santiago sits: financial centers, universities, highways, skyscrapers. Mediterranean climate, organized infrastructure, political power. South Chile feels like Scandinavia: cold, wet, and wild. Dense forests. Fjords. Glaciers. Long winters. Wind and rain shaping daily life. That diversity is beautiful. It gives Chile ecological richness few countries have. But politically and economically, it's complicated. Because one government must manage regions with completely different needs, climates, industries, and distances. Water scarcity in the north. Urban congestion in the center. Infrastructure isolation in the south. Chile isn't one environment. It's multiple environments forced into one border. Chile's modern shape wasn't inevitable. It wasn't destiny. It wasn't natural geography alone. It was built, piece by piece, through expansion. Some through settlement. Some through negotiation. And some through war. In the late 1800s, the War of the Pacific pushed Chile north into mineral-rich territory. The conflict involved Peru and Bolivia, and it dramatically reshaped the region's coastline. Bolivia, in particular, lost its access to the Pacific Ocean, becoming landlocked to this day. The war wasn't just about land. It was about resources, especially nitrates, which were critical for fertilizer and explosives. Control over mineral wealth meant economic leverage. Then in the south, Chile focused on maritime control. It secured strategic access to key sea routes near the Strait of Magellan. Before the Panama Canal existed, ships traveling between the Atlantic and Pacific had to pass through the dangerous southern waters of South America. Controlling southern sea passage meant influencing global trade movement. Chile gained strategic geography. But it also gained geographic responsibility. More coastline. More distance. More terrain to manage. Borders aren't natural. They're negotiated. And sometimes, they're fought over. Most countries have space to grow in multiple directions. Chile does not. It has two walls. The Pacific Ocean blocks the west. The Andes Mountains block the east. That leaves only north and south. So Chile grows along a line. And lines are fragile. In some places, Chile is less than 200 kilometers wide. In narrow sections, the country is squeezed so tightly that a single earthquake, landslide, or flood can sever the main artery connecting communities. And earthquakes are not rare here. Chile sits on the Pacific Ring of Fire and has experienced some of the strongest earthquakes ever recorded. It's like running a nation on one long hallway. And hoping the hallway never collapses. Every major road, railway, and fiber optic cable becomes critical infrastructure. Because if one section breaks, entire regions can become isolated. Geography doesn't just shape Chile. It pressures it. When a country is shaped like Chile, the center becomes everything. Business, universities, hospitals, airports. They concentrate where connectivity is easiest. And in Chile, that place is Santiago. The capital isn't just a political center. It's an economic magnet. Opportunities cluster there because infrastructure radiates outward from the middle more efficiently than from the edges. So Santiago grows. Skylines rise. Investment flows in. Population increases. Meanwhile, distant regions often feel neglected. And that's not just social inequality. It's geographic math. The further you live from the center, the harder it becomes to access opportunity. Transport costs rise. Travel time increases. Government services become slower to reach. Distance equals friction. And friction affects development. Chile is an export powerhouse. It produces copper, one of the world's most important industrial metals. It exports fruit, seafood, wine, and lithium. And it has excellent ports facing the Pacific, connecting it efficiently to Asia and global markets. From the outside, Chile looks globally connected. But inside the country, geography complicates movement. Mountains interrupt routes. Long distances raise transport costs. Southern regions require ferries and fragmented road systems. Sometimes, especially in the far south, moving goods through neighboring countries can be more practical than staying entirely within Chilean territory. So Chile becomes a strange machine. Globally connected by ocean, but locally challenged by geography. Chile survives by layering solutions. Where geography blocks, infrastructure adapts. Roads cut through mountains. Tunnels connect valleys. Ferries link fragmented southern land. Air travel bypasses terrain entirely, connecting distant regions in hours instead of days. And digital infrastructure reduces the need for physical movement. Fiber optic networks stretch across extreme terrain. Remote work becomes not just modern, but necessary. Chile is also turning limits into strengths. The Atacama Desert, once seen as empty and hostile, now hosts massive solar fields, some of the most productive on Earth. Southern winds power expanding wind farms. Northern minerals fuel the global battery industry. Chile can't change its shape. So it changes how it operates inside the shape. Chile shouldn't exist as a clean, stable-looking country on a map. It's too extreme. Too long. Too narrow. Too geologically active. And yet, it works. Not perfectly, not without tension. But it functions. Because over time, systems were built stronger than the geography trying to challenge them. Infrastructure layered over mountains. Trade routes designed around oceans. Political systems stretched across climate extremes. And that might be the real story. Not that Chile is shaped strangely, but that it learned how to survive a shape that wants to break it. Chile isn't a mistake. It's a negotiation between nature and human design. And somehow, it holds.